Yes, yes, okay. Um, Good evening, parents. Most of you know me. For others, I'll give a short intro about me. I'm Ranjini, mother of Vinayak. My son is now 13 years old. At 3 years, he was diagnosed with autism and ADHD. Initial years, I've given therapy, and I was not much satisfied with therapies. And then I took him to a ground for running because he was continuously running. And then I came to know about a swimming team, and I have put him in swimming also. Doctors have suggested medications. I was not interested in medicating my child, so I took an alternative path, sports. I wanted him to physically make him tired and then sleep. And when I was looking for information about sports, information was very less, not like therapies and all. Sports information was very less. Then I started a group. I wanted to connect with all parents and all professionals, and I wanted information to be open. So I started a group and I started inviting people from all the fields, be it sports or medical field or advocates or journalists. I wanted to connect all people. So I started to invite each speaker as a guest, and we started to share information. That time, senior parent, mother of Sriram, Vanita, I called her for a meeting. She came and she shared her experience, her life experience. She shared about how she brought up her son. And through her, I came to know about Paul, our area director. That time only I came to know about Special Olympics. She introduced Paul to me, and I invited him for a meeting. He came and he shared his knowledge and all. And when I requested for coaches, I was not able to get more details about coaches and all. Then we had another parent, Geeta, who approached me. She was having some complaints against the area director, and we together we went and met an advocate, and we filed a case. And then he resigned. And after that, the court order was very good, but practically it was not that much implemented. We approached the commissioner often. Often we used to go. We used to request him to form a committee, and then the ad hoc committee was formed. And even in that committee, we have lot of issues now. We're meeting now. Yeah, we have lot of issues now, and that is going on. And one more thing commonly I find is that no one wants the parents to get educated. I don't know why. I find that there is some reason people want power and they want to control parents, and there is some misuse of something. Something is happening, but I'm not able to understand what is that something. I always believe that the only solution to any problem is that the stakeholders, the general public should be educated about what is happening. And we, the parents of special children, we have all the rights to know about everything. And wherever we question, the state committee says they put the blame on national committee. The national committee, when we mail them, they tell your state issues you have to solve among yourself and come to us. A state says national and national says state, and this is how the whole thing is going on, but we are not able to get proper information. And I came to know about Padmini through Facebook. I came to know her. Padmini, she holds a doctorate degree in adapted physical activity education from Texas Women's University at USA. She's a researcher. She has done research. She is in touch with many parents all over India, and she has done many case studies, and she is very knowledgeable in our Special Olympics field. It is very rare to find such people. She's ready to educate parents. That is the thing which attracted me towards her. And it is always taking time to find such people. I believe that change is a very slow process, and let us all work towards it. As parents, I have my own limitations. We all have our own limitations. This is where we have to collaborate with people who are professionals and experts in the field of disability who can guide us on how to take things forward. Mm, Many know that I run the voice group. We did small changes, which I believe would inspire more people to do more things, which will accumulate into a bigger power. And the government and federations should always work for us, but it is always the reverse. We have to go behind the government. We have to request. Many times we have to beg for our things. Let us all get educated and do something now. And Padmini, she can also guide on how to take sports as a career for our children. What are the options available apart from the medals and the cash prize? How to take sports as a career? And other than Special Olympics, what are the other international games which are available for our children? And at the ground level also, we need to work many things. Like we need to have regular practice, regular training. It is not that one day of a competition and one medal or one cash prize is going to help a child. We have to have a healthy lifestyle and regular training practices in all the sports. And we parents are struggling to form something. We are not able to do anything because of our children. Most of the energy is diverted to our children, and very much only we are able to do. Padmini can guide us on how to take things forward. Over to you, Padmini.
Thank you, Ranjini. I appreciate you giving a 360-degree view on based on our previous discussions also. A warm welcome to everybody who's taken time to join this session on the weekend. I am right now, and before I go deeper into the context of why I am doing what I'm doing, I want to tell you what we will do for the next 35 minutes. First, I have prepared about 15 PowerPoint slides. They're in the form of a PDF document that I will play on the screen, and I'll share the screen. So there could be slides which you can screenshot, and we can initiate a discussion on that later on if you think the questions you have is out of the scope of this discussion. The purpose of today's presentation is twofold. One is to give you a basic insight into what is the background work you have to do to empower your child in a holistic manner, to be fully participative in sport. That is the first purpose. And the second purpose is, as a parent, what is the level of preparation that is required before you can even think of putting your child into the Special Olympic system in India. My background of how I have arrived at these conclusions with Special Olympics are for another session, because it is going to take away a lot of our discussion time. What I want to do today is to, in the 15 slides that I will be presenting in front of you, I want to give you an insight into who I am as a person, and who I am and what I am doing. So in each slide, I will be giving you small anecdotes of my own experience in this process as a researcher, that you can take and process it and then come back to me with more detailed questions. So I'll keep the presentation as general as possible, because one of the principles on which I try to share information in India is on the basis of universal design of learning. In universal design of learning, we try to, every time we prepare a session that is general, that we don't have a specific idea of who the exact audience will be. If the audience is diverse and we don't have full information of what their present level of knowledge is, we try to use the UDL principles and design presentations that will be understood by people of all ability levels. Okay, on that note, I'm going to share the screen now, and I am going to actually present to you the presentation I made in the form of a PDF. Let me just open this for you. I think, is the screen visible to everybody? Ranjini, is the screen visible?
Yes, yes, Padmini.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you. So I wanted to specifically, in the first slide, I wanted to put this in because I feel Ranjini has been a great enabler for me in this process to enter this community, because over the last several years, I have faced resistance to enter the parent community in Special Olympics, because inside India's Special Olympic movement, the access to the parents community is highly controlled, highly controlled by the federation. That, as a disability sports researcher, as a sports governance researcher, I have understood that as early as 2017-18 in India. So the last 5 years have pretty much been about how can I break the barriers and get connected with parent leaders like Ranjini, So I'm just thankful that today we have the opportunity of teaming up for you. And this I just want to put this out that this will be the first of the many several open source, openly documented sessions we will be doing for the benefit of the country at large. Not just for the parents in Tamil Nadu or in South. We want to do this to share information with all parents across India. So most of these sessions will definitely be in English, and in the coming days we will consider other languages and other modalities through which we'll put out the information also. And see, this is the Special Olympic athlete oath that you must have heard your children recite at many of the Special Olympic events you must have taken your child to. And the specific reason I'm putting this slide out here is to draw your attention to one word. We, I think, as a parent community, as a professional community, we are always first drawn to the two words win win that are put into this oath. It is a very, I feel sometimes when these kinds of communication strategies are put out by global corporations like Special Olympics, they are very strategic in when they use this terms, no, when they put out the word win win, they are putting out into our psyche the need for our child to be a winner in the participation process. But what they miss out is in how the philosophy, how the Special Olympic movement involved, what was its inception. The important word here the parents have to pay attention to is brave. For an individual, for a human being to be brave, they must be empowered with a lot of information, with a lot of clarity and transparency. For you to go into the phase of fear and fight a fight to be brave, you have to have a lot of information. And right now, India's Special Olympic movement parents don't have that information. So I want you to, as parents and caregivers and professionals, I want you to take this oath as a prompt for you to explore where are you positioned. Are you brave enough to navigate this process, or are you navigating this process without information? Because to be brave, people like me and Ranjini, we believe that you have to have all the information for you to make the best decision for your child. So this is what we will discuss today. I put out four subheadings here. One is I will briefly give you an overview of what Special Olympics is from the global perspective, because in India, Special Olympics is almost translated at the grassroots communities as the only way a child or an adult with intellectual disability can access sports and physical activity, and that is inaccurate. That is wrong. That myth needs to be busted. The second part is what is a national sport federation, because unknown to a lot of common citizens in India, the word national sport federation carries a lot of weight and power. And by directly indirectly engaging with the national sport federations without having full information, majority of the citizens are cheated in their expectations, are taken advantage of. So that is one thing I will address. The third point is national sports code and its importance. I don't know how many, in my experience of working in the sector for 8 years, directly and indirectly, as a researcher, as a scholar activist, what I have recognized is a majority of the people don't know the existence of national sports code in India. This National Sports Code was a collection of documents, a policy document that was released in 2011 by the Government of India under the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. And very few citizens have the idea of a presence of this code. This needs to be also understood a little bit about. And ultimately, I don't want anybody to leave this conversation thinking that it is still frustrating, it is all negative. I feel there are a lot of practical strategies that parents can themselves implement at their grassroots, which can cause a sea of revolution in India's Special Olympics movement. So we will end the session with practical strategies before we move on to our one-on-one discussions in the group. So this is pretty much the mission of Special Olympics International, the body that oversees member countries like India. And I have, if you see, I have made bold a phrase inside this entire mission statement, right? And I'm paying more attention to year-round sports training and athletic competition. What needs to be understood that Special Olympics, unlike other national sport federation setups, belongs to an international movement where the emphasis is on providing year-round sports. That means, say we have, say, let's assume we have just 3 seasons in this country. summer, winter, and rainy season. So, if our sports that we are choosing for our child or student are specific to weather, if they're outdoor, based on the climatic conditions, the conditions to train and compete alter. So, what is the philosophy behind writing a mission statement like this is that if a child does track activities and they can do that during a conducive season, then there will be another season in which they can't get out because there will be other comorbidities and medical conditions which will prevent the child from participating in outdoor weathers during another part of the year. At that point, the local Special Olympics unit is responsible to create an alternative so that the necessary benefit for cardiovascular health in reduction of obesity and helping managing behaviors, all these verticals can be met through another sporting activity. So the philosophy of Special Olympics says year around the Special Olympics unit at that local community needs to provide opportunities for every individual with intellectual disability to engage in developing physical fitness, to demonstrate courage, to experience joy, and to participate in these other skills, which will basically improve their socialization and their participation as citizens in the country. So that is the big picture at the global level. If you like take a zoom out and you look at the Special Olympics movement, that is the precise philosophy behind the movement. That is where you should position your thought, and from there on we are now going deeper into what is happening in India. What is a national federation in India? National federation, according to the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, is any registered body which has the official approval to control and manage the sport in this country. What is important to note here is the word control, because these are almost like de facto government approved divisions that will control your access to the sport also. That is very very essential to essential for you to understand and remember. And when an organization gets a national sport federation status, there are different uh, methods in which they get it. Some people get a provisional one where in X number of months and years they have to prove their eligibility. Some people get an outright national sport federation status where there are several paths to this. Some people do that through political affiliation. Some people have evidence that they will submit to the government saying we will not seek any funding from you, so eternally we will keep a NSF status and we will not come to you for money. Then there are others like Special Olympics Bharat who will every year go back for funding and get X amounts of money from the government. But what must be understood is if you want to say take some program out of Special Olympics system and want to implement it in some remote village near Madurai, because you are a special education teacher who went and got some training in some foreign university and you came back to your home country, the Special Olympics Bharat has all the power to prevent you from doing that independently, because they are the sole authorized people to use the copyrighted material or the trademark material of Special Olympics International. So that needs to be understood. That means when Special Olympics Bharat has a national sport federation status, they're pretty much the mother and father in this country for the Special Olympics movement, and they are pretty much the decision makers for a child who is dependent on them, who is like under 18, not having the financial independence and dependent on the children. What is the status of such a child, right, when they live with the parent? That is how simple, how simple terms I can explain this on how much control uh, the Special Olympics Bharat has on the sports that our children can access. Then next is I want to talk about the National Sports Development Code of India 2011. And see, this is a very elaborate document. We are talking about 64, 67 pages of document. And I'm not going to go into the details of this, but some salient important features that you should consider. This policy document is basically a de facto sports law in this country. This 99% of the stakeholders don't know. If you go to high court judgments in your own state and you will pull up any disability related sports case, you will definitely 99%, if one of the respondent parties is a government body, you will by default see the reference to the National Sports Development Code of India 2011. And when it becomes a de facto law, a sports law, and it has been cited in judgments at High Court and Supreme Court level, that means it has power that you can also use to advocate for your child's rights. And what also needs to be understood is that according to this code, The state units of national sport federations like Special Olympics Bharat must be compliant with the code, and the code has guidelines on the basis of which they can maintain their eligibility. And that the Right to Information Act 2005 is applicable to Special Olympics Bharat and all its state units, because according to the code, a state unit becomes an integral part of the National Sport Federation. The National Sport Federation keeps its position with the government, recognized in that nodal authority level, by having these state units. Say, example, if Tamil Nadu parents come together and decide to just walk out of the Special Olympic system and say, we are not going to show up for our events unless our children get the best of the treatment and the best of the amenities, there is practically no state unit of Tamil Nadu, which basically is what happened in Manoranjini, CK Manoranjini versus the Union of India, the case that Ranjini had filed along with other parents. Literally, Tamil Nadu's Special Olympic system does not exist for the last 3 years, and a majority of the parents who've been sending their children to these activities, these virtual events that they got involved in, they have no idea that they were functioning with a system that did not have its presence in Tamil Nadu legally. It was basically the High Court, Madras High Court, saying that the state unit did not exist, and it didn't make a difference for any parent. They just kept sending their child out to these events even virtually, and the children got used, in a very absurd way. They got used by the national body, which did not even show the moral responsibility of issuing a press statement that they lost the power to operate Special Olympics inside the state borders of Tamil Nadu, which is very sad, because when a high court will slap you with an order to say stay away from the state, a national sport federation should issue a public press statement saying we had this happen to us and we are working on it, which was not the case. And why did all this happen is because the parents did not know. The parents couldn't demand accountability from the body, right? And what needs to also be understood, that these extensive guidelines, if they are taken as a Xerox paper, that guidelines sheet, 1 2 pages, if you take the printout and if you catch hold of the team in Special Olympics Tamil Nadu and make them follow every single line of it, 99% of the problems are solved. The problem is coming with the lack of enforcement. Parents don't have the knowledge and nobody is able to advocate for it. But if you take those papers, photocopies, and if you start working on it to demand those rights, that also will solve 90% of the problems. And then, what is Special Olympics Bharat? So I'm saying it's a registered body. What registered body it is? In contrary to over 50 plus federations, national sport federations in India, to the best of my knowledge, Special Olympics Bharat is the only registered body which has a trust status, which is which is very strange for me, because any legal person, any person who has a basic knowledge of how societies, trusts, non-profits work, they must understand that by having a trust status, this National Sport Federation has different kinds of flexibilities around its behavior, in contrast to a society that requires you to have a quorum, call for, yes, they are still complying with the National Sports Development Code guidelines according to the government, because as a researcher, when I'm looking at it as a third party, they are not in compliant with 90% of the requirements, yet year after year they're getting the recognition. Whereas when it comes to it being registered under the Trust Act, they have an emeritus trustee, which in 2013, Denzel Keeler, the man who started this, they filed for an amendment in which they're saying there is an emeritus trustee position that he'll eternally hold it for as long as he's alive. And there is a team that they place, there is a board of trustees, which also circulates among the national capital region. So in a country like India, when you have a priority status as a national sport federation, how can you just keep circulating everything from one power center in the country, while on their website they say that the government has appointed them for national presence and experience, especially in rural areas where a majority of our disabled population live, and that is where our students are, Special Olympic athletes are also coming from. Majority of them come from rural areas. So this is the ambiguity that surrounds how Special Olympics Bharat is operating in this country, right? And the reason I'm putting all this out is you need to uh, put this into your brain and start processing where your child, who is the so-called Special Olympic athlete, where is he or she placed in this entire movement, and you will realize that they are virtually non-existent. If you look at it from a global perspective, your child is insignificant in the movement. No matter what the statistics say, no matter what the Facebook, I mean, social media marketing of this organization is, the grassroots reality is pretty stark. And this is something that I want. The reason I put it in a big font and I wanted everybody to look at it is, you must remember this number. Every parent, every person involved with Special Olympics movement in India must remember this number, because I may be wrong. If I am wrong in my estimations and calculations, please feel free to connect me. You can contact me anywhere you want and correct me. This is a number that I arrived at from the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports' website. Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports every year publishes its annual report. Currently on India's Sports Ministry's website, there are documents from 2006. 2006 to 2021, I downloaded all the annual reports. And when I calculated how much money was given to Special Olympics Bharat from 2006, so in the last about 16 years, 15 plus years, 2,854.9 lakhs was given to Special Olympics Bharat. And when that number comes to your brain, the first thing that needs to, first question anybody, like as an experiment, I just kept mentioning this number to a bunch of people in the Special Olympics community, parents and special educators. When I kept telling this number, everybody said, Padmini, where did all that money go, right? And when you ask a national sport federation, they will show you the audited accounts. They will show you all the paperwork to say it's justified. This is what we did. That is what we did. One of the most absurd thing I found, because see, I'm not a chartered accountant. So if anybody who's a chartered accountant who will listen to this session or come across this conversation, I want you to please explain to Special Olympic parents and the community in India, how are some of the expenses in their audited accounts justified? Because some of the audited accounts, if you see, you will be so blown away by their expenditure in the Delhi office that you're wondering, you could have just given me those 30,000 here in Tirunelveli district and I could have done something useful for the children that would have been more lasting. I could have instituted, you could have given me 30,000, and in that district, I would have gone to the collector's office. I would have collaborated with the collector's office to set up a scholarship for every teacher to be trained in Special Olympics. We could have done so many things with that 30,000 10 years back. So I want this number to stick in your heads, and I want you to know this is 28.54 crores of rupees. And today, when you say how much of that money actually translated to institutional level development for Special Olympics in India, I say it is zero, because Tamil Nadu is the fifth largest Special Olympics division. It is the fifth largest state with over 97,088 athletes, Special Olympic athletes. They have over, their claim on the website is they have over 8,000 coaches, and they say they claim they serve in 32 districts. And I want to know, where are those 8,000 coaches and where are those 97,000 athletes? I'm really, I'm blown away. If 97,000 people are Special Olympic athletes, if I go to Chennai and if I say mention Special Olympics in some random place, people should have at least heard that term. And 90% of the time, people don't know what Special Olympics is. So I don't know how 1 lakh athletes are in Tamil Nadu and Special Olympics is still not the talk of the town. So this is a number that I want you to keep in your head and like remember it and keep asking where this money went. So, and this is another graph, okay? And when I plotted the numbers of athletes, disciplines that these people serve in, coaches and districts, this is how the pie chart looks. Literally this green, everything you see green on the screen is athletes. And what you see yellow is the coaches. Can you just imagine that for this many, even if they are accurate that they have 97,000 plus athletes, and they have 8,000 coaches, and I'm just shocked, right? Because for this many athletes, if these are the coaches, what programs are running in the state of Tamil Nadu? How does Special Olympics Bharat get the eligibility to claim this on their website when you are not able to show me any evidence? As a researcher, when I filed RTIs, they told me I had no right asking data. Whereas under the RTI Act, when you tell me that I have to justify why I am asking information under RTI, you're breaking the law, right? And here is me with no skin in the game, right? I'm only a researcher who's trying to find an interesting topic to study. I don't have a family member who's in Special Olympics. I'm just driven by the science behind this. or the interest behind the governance behind this. And as a researcher, when I kept asking questions, they said, you have no right to ask. I said, give me a list of coaches who are there in Tamil Nadu. Maybe as a PhD, I wanted to train these people, right? If there are 8,000 people, why can't I train them and run a company and provide services to the parents, right? And so they kept telling me I had no right asking the questions. And that is me, them answering to me. Now you can imagine what happens to a parent when they question Special Olympics Bharat. And this is another graph, okay? This graph is not very clear, it's not huge font, but if you go to the bottom and scroll, see up from Gujarat, Bihar, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu, you see the green bar where it goes way past the 1 lakh mark, and you look at the orange bar to it, which is so small. That's the coaches versus the athlete combination. And the pattern is standard across the country. If you see the green lines, they all go way all the way up into 1.5 lakh at tops. They're going towards 1.5 lakh, and you'll see the coaches, the number of coaches that are available. I mean, for 28 crores, what have you done in this country is this is how many number of coaches you have provided. And so I don't know what training is happening in the country for preparing coaches to serve Special Olympic athletes. This is an athlete to coach ratio graph I created with the data from their website. If you look at the green bar, that is Tamil Nadu. So that basically means for every 11 athletes, there is one coach. In the state of Tamil Nadu, for every 11 athletes, there is one coach. In states like Haryana, for 23 athletes, there is one coach. That's a different level sadness. There is nothing to discuss about the hopelessness of that state for that matter. But if you look at Tamil Nadu, I also want to tell parents something that they probably don't know. Tamil Nadu is one of the largest producers of physical education teachers in this country. You will be blown away by the volume of physical education colleges in Coimbatore. Like if you go to Coimbatore, you will every third or fourth person you're meeting is either an engineer going to the engineering colleges or they're physical educators. High volume of women physical educators who are training to become PE teachers. And so for me, what saddens me is that with that volume of physical educators graduating in the state of Tamil Nadu, why are we at this ratio? Why are we not at one? Why are we not at a reasonable ratio of 5? Right? At least for 5 athletes, if we have one coach, that is a reasonable thing to address, considering the crores of budget that has been allocated to this National Sport Federation. And see, what are the major problems in Special Olympics Bharat? Right? The power center is in New Delhi. If you talk of understanding the governance in this sector, Power Center is in New Delhi. How is it possible in this session only when Ranjini and me we wanted to do this? If we did it in Tamil entirely, we will not cater to anybody else who is in the voice group, which is like a secular group. And if we do it only in English, we are not catering to any parent who has not had access to English medium education. So you see how when the power when the leadership is developed, it's all based out of Delhi, and most of the leadership is also from that part of the country. So that creates a huge information and a communication gap, which can't be bridged under any circumstances unless you're a part of a lobby, which has been the reality for Special Olympics Bharat in India. Then lack of representation, which I'm talking about. You don't have state representation at the national board. For a federation of that state, every state must be in the board. Every state must have a representative who's in the board. Everybody who must be attending a meeting. So every time the power center is meeting in Delhi, at least virtually, they should be facilitated to know what is happening in those meetings so that they can bring the information back to the state. And no clarity on state units. I have been to Chennai multiple times in the last 3 years. I've been in India. I have traveled to Chennai so many times, and I don't know where the physical presence of Special Olympics Tamil Nadu is. That is the same case with Telangana. Telangana and Andhra, though, just next level joke it is. They're all registered out of the same home address, and one person operates both the states, and that man is taking money left, right, center, and earning. This is a classic reality for Special Olympic Bharat state units. So I will only talk confidently of the 3 states I am involved with directly. But I'm not surprised. Between Telangana, Andhra, and Tamil Nadu, there are over 2.5 lakh athletes. And I just, so that is one thing that I would like for you to remember, right? They're dysfunctional state units, which the Special Olympics Bharat doesn't talk about. Then what are the major problems inside Special Olympics Bharat Tamil Nadu? Beyond the Delhi state teams, there's no organized structure in team roles. Say when the ad hoc committee was formed and I was tracking this as a researcher, I was getting the court documents, I was reading them, I was trying to understand how the disability commissioner was guiding this. They have no idea how to sport govern. They don't know how to govern the sport, and they don't take the help of the experts in Tamil Nadu. I'm not saying that because I'm a PhD in this subject you should have involved me, because at some point I did reach out to the parties and say that also, is that let me be legally involved, recommend me to the commissioner, let me come down to Chennai and talk to the commissioner. There is no intent among the people involved in Special Olympics Bharat Tamil Nadu movement to involve people who can bring transparency. That is what was my experience in trying to help the people of Tamil Nadu. Then the second thing is unchanged leadership in years. What a lot of people don't know is Paul Devasagayam getting this rap, was getting the uh, punishment from the court to get away from the movement. But nobody notices how much John Nagarajan has taken away from Special Olympics Tamil Nadu over the years. And I know this from 2015 when I met him in Los Angeles. So that is something. So this unchanged, the concept of unchanged leadership at the state levels, that needs to be done away with. There needs to be fresh leadership. There are so many parents who are involved. Parents must be given equal opportunities to get involved in leadership, and they should be held accountable. And parents don't have democratic access to information. Example, if you need information about selection trials and all, if you're not part of a WhatsApp group, if you're a parent who does not use a smartphone, you're not part of a WhatsApp group, you will not get the information. And I know too many parents who have complained about this, and too many parents who are dependent on someone like me to be a part of that WhatsApp group and get them that information. So there's too many layers getting added to this in Special Olympics Tamil Nadu also, where information is needed and education is needed for you to fix these problems. What are the challenges faced to seek transparency? So when I tried to get access as a neutral party or a third party, there was lack of publicly available communication from the national office. Oftentimes, if there is no Facebook update, you literally don't know what's happening. If there's no WhatsApp information, you have no idea what they're doing in Delhi. So that is a problem that needs to be addressed head on with the national office. There's no equity in how programming is designed at national level. uh, Special Olympics Bharat, Delhi's office will go do programs with these rich schools in the Delhi NCR region, or in Haryana, or in some part of Punjab and other fancy places, but they don't think about anything outside that Delhi NCR region, which is a very sad part, because for them Special Olympics movement pretty much centers around that region. And that, but when every time the world games come, every time the world games are happening, then they need the numbers, then they're herding people like cattle, which is very sad. So that also needs to be taken under caution for you when you want to involve your child. Is, do you want your child to be a part of a herd, or do you want them to be a part of a rights based process? Because your struggle is ultimately to make your child independent and be able to exist in a society in an independent and an empowered manner. That cannot happen without a rights based approach. If your child is a statistic that they are using to get their annual funding, then it is you have all rights to speak up and say my child will not be a statistic anymore. And they have violated the RTI Act multiple times with me. I do not have the resources to take them to the Supreme Court. If some parent is willing to, I am willing to provide them the data that they can submit as evidence, because I cannot fight a Supreme Court case by myself. And if some parent is interested, I can provide the data, because when you have something like the RTI in India, and you as a federation are arrogant to say I will not reply to it and I'm not scared of the law, that means the situation has gone out of the control long back. And when they denied me information, this was 2018-19, so they pretty much they have put out in written that we will not give you information, and they have been bold about it. So that also needs to be understood, is where is your child placed. If you can't advocate for your child, if somebody like me is taking up the responsibility for it, I will also not be getting the opportunity to help your child if this federation continues like this. And there's no transparency in how national funds are used. On their website, you will never see them put out a clear breakdown of the fund. Say, example, they get one of the years in the annual report, I saw that they got 11 crores, I think. And I don't know, unless you see that year's annual audited reports, which will not be available as an archive, there is no way you can even hire a chartered accountant to analyze it for you to research. So that is needed to be understood. And then what are the practical strategies to improve access? See, even in the Special Olympics Tamil Nadu case, I have seen that there is no cohesion among parent groups. I don't know if it is a problem with the leadership of the parents who are at the helm, but there needs to be some form of cohesion that needs to happen among parent groups that are advocating for their rights. And there is a need for democratic process to be put in place. There is I have noticed traits of autocracy. There will be one or two people who are very fierce advocates. They will sit at the top and they will dictate everybody else. That also is not working in our favor at the grassroots. And mandatorily you should have the presence of a lawyer and a chartered accountant in your team who will volunteer 3 hours for local units per week. That means about you need somebody who will say, I'll volunteer 12 hours of my month. Every month I will give you 12 hours of my time. That is the minimum requirement for you to start building the movement from the grassroots. And moving away from WhatsApp, text messages, and phone conversations to email communications. I think that will alter the ecosystem at such intense levels that you will definitely begin to see changes in a more practical manner. Then there is also a need to learn how to use the RTI Act effectively. If you want information, you should not have to go to your state president and beg them for information. First is it should be on the state website. If not, then you should have the freedom to file an RTI, and you should know how to file it from the confines of your home, which today is made available thanks to the government's initiative to make it a digital India effort. And I think you should be allowed to understand and enjoy that privilege to reduce your own caretaking burden, right? And then I am myself a Telugu. I have learned Tamil, and I have learned Tamil because I know the importance of engaging in the movement at the grassroots. So I'm not against Tamil, but please walk away from this culture of sticking only to your native language, because you're trying to include your child in a national movement in a country that is multilingual. And even though it is not the official language, it is mostly for all our official communications, English is used. So I think there should be an encouragement to use English as a communication language among all the people involved in this. And with this, I'm going to just stop saying what I was saying, because beyond this, everything else will be like overwhelming load of information. And I'm just going to ask parents to come up and start asking questions, and I think Ranjini will moderate if need be.
Padmini, always I have this doubt. Coaches, where where should we go and find the coaches available?
Ranjini, today any question you'll ask, anybody asks any question, I'll answer it from the governance perspective, because I think it is time where we put the responsibility on the federation that has taken money on the name of our children. So when you say you want to know the coaches, on Special Olympics Bharat website, they're saying they have 8,455 coaches in the state of Tamil Nadu. I want every parent, in the voice group, I have been seeing parents saying they want coaches, right? They're trying to find, you're going to colleges and talking to principals. You don't have to do that, Ranjini. You have the right to ask Special Olympics Bharat to show you the list of the 8,455 coaches. You have the legal right to ask, demand them that. The parents can come together and even go to the government, mention this number and say, can you ask the Tamil Nadu government to ask the Special Olympic body to tell you who these 8,455 coaches are? Because out of this entire exhaustive list, I am 100% sure you'll find 100 coaches that you can effectively begin using in the next 15 days itself. Because please also remember that disability rights and sports are both state subjects in the Indian Constitution. It is the responsibility of the state government to hold Special Olympics Bharat accountable for giving them information on these 8,455 coaches. So that is where you have to go. You're going back to Special Olympics Bharat national office. You're writing a communication to them as a parent group. Then you're going to CC that to the government, to the Chief Disability Commissioner of the state of Tamil Nadu, and you're going to ask them to give you that information. Because under RTI, I can go on the record and tell you this: they will not respond. They are not going to respond. They have not responded to my RTI request. So with that, I think that is my answer. You have to ask Special Olympics. They have 8,000 plus coaches, because this is what they're projecting nationally, internationally also. That we have millions of athletes, we have millions of coaches, which is not fair.
I am part of the ad hoc committee now, but I don't find any coaches. I don't find 8,000 coaches here in Tamil Nadu. Is it a fake number, or is it really those coaches are registered under Tamil Nadu?
See, when I had to give this presentation, I went back to my archives. I had to pull out information from my archives in the US. When I was a Class A volunteer with Special Olympics Texas for many years before I came here. And when I became a Class A volunteer, okay, I'm not even talking about being a coach. I had to sign 34 pages. I had 34 pages of documents in my hand. And I was only a Class A volunteer. A Class A volunteer is somebody who gets a background check to work with the children, that I am not a child sexual abuser, that I have good behaviors. They'll do a police background check and they'll let me into Special Olympic events. And for that to be a Class A volunteer, I sent 34 pages. So if they have 8,000 coaches, how many pages of documents they should have been documenting in the Special Olympics Tamil Nadu office? Is there an office where there are papers? Have you been able to go to a physical office where there have been papers?
As you say, we have nothing here. We don't have an office. We don't have coaches. We don't have proper people to respond.
That is, see, that when they form, see, the word ad hoc, when we talk about disability sport activism in India, in other groups and all, lot of people keep telling me that there is a usage of this term called Padmini, please don't mention ad hocisms. They said don't do ad hocisms, and I used to not understand that term. No, this ad hoc behavior, it sort of takes away the legal responsibility also on any of the involved parties. Technically, in the way your committee is set up, in the way I have seen after the High Court judgment that thing was set up, who is the legal authority? You guys are formed a committee. If I want as a parent to file a case against something that has gone wrong, who are we going to file against? Ad hoc committee has no legal, in a way to speak, who is even holding that ad hoc committee responsible? So, Ranjini, I'm not attacking you. I'm not being demeaning to your efforts or to anybody in the ad hoc committee. But what needs to be understood is that this has been a lost cause for a much longer time, except that parents did not have the steering light. Nobody steered them towards it and said, "You're being taken for a ride." All the parents who have been sending their children to Special Olympics events have literally been encouraging Special Olympics Bharat to use their child as a statistic. These children don't hold any value to the National Sport Federation, which is swindling thousands of crores. So, yeah, there are no coaches, but yeah, it's about time that somebody asks the state government also to give an answer.
Hello,
Who is
Ranjini.
representing National Sports Federation from Tamil Nadu?
Ranjini, I'll let you answer this question.
Repeat the question. Who is
Yeah,
representing Tamil Nadu?
who is representing National Sports Federation from Tamil Nadu?
We have an ad hoc committee now, appointed by the
Okay.
commissioner, disability commissioner. We have an ad hoc committee. We have Julia Vasanti as our area director.
Hmm. So what is their role? What are they doing? Whatever Padmini is saying, no, what are they doing now?
They are responsible for selection of athletes and sending them to the national coaching camp.
But this time there is no transparency in terms of the whatever the event happened. No, at least last time there was some
That is the
communication from
issue every
Satish.
time.
No, last time there was a clear communication from Satish. This time Satish is not even in the picture. Okay, that is a concern.
Satish is a coach. Actually, we should have
I know
information
that. I
from the
know
student
that.
party.
I know that Ranjani, Satish is a coach. But the thing is, at least he is the one who is front ending. Who is front ending, at least, and we get all communication at least from Satish. Okay. This time that doesn't even happen. I don't know whether Satish is in the committee or he's not in the committee. I'm not aware. Okay, my question is if there is any representation from Tamil Nadu, they should represent this cause, no, Padmini. That is my basic question. Maybe.
Representation, I don't know what is your name. I like.
My name is Venkat. My name is Venkat.
Okay, it says
Yeah,
Venkaji, and I was like, wait.
Venkat.
Okay, so basically, see, Venkat, problem is um, right now we're talking about representation, and Ranjini is
Correct.
saying there is a present
Say,
ad hoc
yeah.
committee, right? You're
Hmm.
talking about selections. I will take a step back from the selections and
No. I'm not talking about selection. See, you talk. You know, you never talked about selection. You talked only about money. I'm talking about the money. This question, the ad hoc committee should ask the National Federation, right?
Yes, yes,
They may
absolutely.
or
See, this ad hoc committee that was formed, its primary responsibility should have been, I'm not, the money part I mentioned because money hits home to people's mind harder than anything else. If I tell them there is no human rights for your child in this, don't send them there, I have been criticized. People told me, Padmini, what human rights you're talking about, and they'll go off into a tangent. So I started explaining to parents about money. I said, okay, listen, that is why I took the economic angle on this, right, Venkat? But what I'm trying
Hmm.
to tell you here is this ad hoc committee that is formed now
Hmm.
has a fundamental responsibility. So considering that the case was filed on the basis of lots of irregularities that Special Olympics Bharat, John Nagarajan and Paul were doing,
Hmm.
after that the movement should have translated into these people holding the fort down in Tamil Nadu and questioning the national sport federation to come through on all the promises that had to be delivered through the court judgment. But what I recognized from the community is that from the community when I got the feedback about the ad hoc committee's vision also is that the mind is still set on the selections and the process of sending athletes, but they are not looking at a systematic development of the movement at the state level. So the question is they should go to the National Sport Federation and ask them a lot of fundamental questions. If you are appointing an area director, what are the resources you are providing? What training you are providing to us? Are you going to allow us to get us an office? Will you pay for an office here because we don't have the funds? Because there should be some physical space where you are meeting, no, to create to fix all these problems. The coaches must also have some place to go to and talk to if they want employment. So that questions need to go from the ad hoc committee to the national office before we can even
Yeah.
think of other matters.
Badmini, you are talking about correct. You are talking about maybe for 2 year or 3 year plan. That's all correct. But as a parent, first thing is a selection, right? So they are least bothered about the money. So they don't even know. I don't even know this amount of money you have. Okay, is involved in this. Now they are they are concerned about the selection committee. Now there is not even a communication. No, how they will send their child for selection. Okay, anyhow, that part you have not discussed. It's out of the question of this
No, no, no,
context.
no. See, Venkat, if a parent has a question, okay, in the governance angle only, I'll give you the answer. If a
Hmm.
parent, now the situation in Tamil Nadu is confusing. We don't know what will happen, what is happening here. The
Hmm.
RTI Act or even the National Sports Development Code both allow a parent to directly write to the national office and they are required to give you a reply.
Hmm.
Any number of parents email them, they should
Hmm.
reply back giving an answer, which parents don't know that they can do.
Okay. Yeah. Even I am not aware. First time I am coming
Yeah,
across
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Thanks for that.
You can
Yeah.
email. There is the email address, no, that info@specialolympicbharat.org.
Hmm.
You email there. Harpreet Singh is their chief public information officer.
Okay.
You should email to Harpreet Singh. You can even copy the national program development directors are there. You can CC them. Their
Hmm.
Excuse me,
emails are.
ma'am. Can you repeat the email
Well,
address?
You can write in the chat box, I
yeah,
think.
I will paste it in the chat box. Okay, because I think I don't want to say the spelling and all wrong.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
I got replies from it after a lot of push. I got replies from it, but they hated my courage. Okay,
Yeah.
there is it's
Yes, sir, correct.
Special Olympics
Yeah,
Bharat.
we can write as a parent, as you said. No, it's the right thing.
I
I
just
think we should
posted
write.
the
We will do that. Yeah.
email address connected
Okay.
specialolympic.bharat.org.
Okay.
I just have a question here from somebody. I am from Hyderabad, Lavanya Ratna. How do I contact Special Olympics Bharat? Lavanya, please write to this email address that I mentioned in the chat box. They should be able to connect you to the swimming programs that they have in Hyderabad, if they have any. So please contact this email address in writing. Arvind, your voice is not audible. There's a lot of no. There's some interference of in the audio. Yeah. Please.
Padmini, I have another doubt.
Yeah.
What about the funds? In the state level, we do all the funding by ourselves. We parents, we share the amount. All the district level collect money for the local partners and they do the. Is or are we?
One moment, can Money please mute himself because they can't. There is disturbance, and Ranjini's question got cut out.
Padmini, I have this doubt. What about the funding at the state level? Every time it is that the local people, they collect money from the local sponsors and conduct the district level events or the state level events. Um, is Special Olympics responsible for the funds, or is it that the state should take local?
So there is no simple answer to this. One is, when annually, when as a national sport federation, when Special Olympics Bharat is getting money, they submit what is called as an annual competition and training calendar, ACTC. Please look that up. It's called an ACTC. ACTC submit panappo, they get a they produce a budget. They give a budget file to the ministry and says this is the money, how we will spend the money, right? And as a national sport federation, there are funds earmarked in that annual budget where they're responsible for conducting state championships, or to provide uniforms, or for foreign travel, or for national camps. Problem is, Special Olympics Bharat's attitude towards spending that expenditure has oftentimes been about spending it only at the national level. They have never empowered the state units to create their own funding mechanism. But for every child you send from here to a national camp, say for international competition, there's money being budgeted for your children going from different states to there. That is being provided by the government, but that is not democratically shared with the state parties. Actually, there could be funds that can be earmarked, because if you are not, as a state unit, if you are not empowered, the NSF has the responsibility of encouraging the program development by providing initial funding, by strengthening your offices so that you can become independent. That is how it works internationally also. Special Olympics in USA, where this movement has originated, they also don't give direct funding to states to run programs. But what they do is they support them in the initial years. They help them strengthen in their state with initial years of funding, and they enable them to gain the speed they need to become strong in their states. And Special Olympics Bharat's attitude is not that. That is where the problem is coming. There is funding earmarked for states and program development that is not trickling down to the states. That is where the money problem is also lying. So that also can be demanded by the ad hoc committee to say how much money have you allocated for the state of Tamil Nadu for this financial year. If they don't give that to you in writing, that is a problem that needs to be addressed in a legal angle, because that's the right of the children from the state of Tamil Nadu. They need to have access to that funding. Yeah, this is the members page. Oh, somebody, Arvind Rajan, has posted that there is a website.
Yeah, so Padmini ma'am, can I just add some points, Arvind here?
Yes, please.
So firstly, I see there is a website for Special Olympics Bharat Chennai, Tamil Nadu, which is the website link I have given. I also see Ranjini ma'am's name in there. I see that there is a dedicated committee which is run by a gentleman named Mile Wagner, who is an IPS officer. Now, my question is fundamentally, and I also see that there is a sports director in there. I see Julia ma'am, who Ranjini ma'am mentioned. Now, there is a committee for Tamil Nadu. We know now, at least when I was Googling, I found out that there is a dedicated committee. Why should we again go to the central government or the Delhi office, right? Can't this committee do anything, right? Because finally, see, for me as a parent, I want to know if I can get a sports solution in Chennai, right? That would be my ask. So this is where I was slightly disconnected, because I know Ranjini ma'am was saying how many coaches do we have in Chennai, but I thought there was a committee that Ranjini ma'am you're yourself part of. So I was not sure if this is not getting discussed in this committee, right? Or is this something that has to come from central government down to us and then to Chennai, and then we get to know?
Ranjini, before you answer, I'm going to answer Arvind's question. Um, with respect to the people who are so currently involved in the Special Olympics Tamil Nadu movement, to not get engaged in any kind of legal mess, I'm not saying things publicly here that I am aware of, especially this website you have shown. I know from the community that Dr. Prasanna Balaji is not in the picture anymore. That is what I am getting from the parent community. So this committee you're talking about, Ranjani is a part of the committee, but Ranjani is pretty lost. When the case was happening, Geeta Subramaniam was very much involved with me, communicative with me to a certain extent, where she wanted me to do all the work of the committee as a technical person at the back end, which I refused to do without getting a legal clearance, some paper saying I'm involved in the process. I said I will not put a pen on the paper because I am afraid of giving you the guidelines to constitute this committee and operate this committee. And if tomorrow something goes wrong, people will say Padmini did this and I will get implicated in a legal case on which I have no control. Then Geeta stopped talking to me when I started holding her accountable to her behavior. Because she was only a family, if according to this website, if Geeta Subramaniam is a family committee head, I don't know why Geeta Subramaniam was talking to me and why Mr. Mailvanganan was not talking to me. Because he seems to be the chairman according to this website. And if you see the website is not secure, that means when I was searching on Google, it is not indexed in the search site properly. It is not coming. That means my computer security is not allowing me to get here. So I don't know how up to date this is.
Yeah, even it's not allowing me now. Yeah, even my security is not allowing. My mobile security is not allowing.
Yeah, it doesn't. So for me, I don't care. As a parent, as a community member, I had I had toxic experience dealing with Geeta Subramaniam. So I don't want parents to be dealing with this on a daily basis. Why I keep talking about the center is the leadership attitude at the center is what has created this mess at the state levels. And this problem is not isolated to only Special Olympics. This happens with every disability sport organization in this country. So what I wanted to draw attention to in this session also is, at the state, if I can actually write to Mr. Mailwangan and myself, I can write, but right now as a researcher, I can't file my RTI to this person to seek information. I will have to talk to the Chief Public Information Officer. And who is the CPIO from this website? I don't know who is the CPIO for this, because according to the law, they're supposed to provide the information of the Chief Public Information Officer. And when Special Olympics Bharat itself is showing the behaviors of refusing RTIs, how can parents get information over emails? This sobtn1@gmail.com, I want to request you to send an email and give them a sufficient time to give you a response. I will be baffled if they give you a response and all the data that you're seeking. Just ask them to give access to a database, no? Because if you look at organizations like Nai Disha, which is a resource center for parents, it's like a virtual resource center. They all have been providing open source information to contacts of coaches, physiotherapists, OTs, speech language pathologists. I'm like, what is preventing Special Olympics Bharat Tamil Nadu from doing that? Ranjani
Yeah,
herself
and
searched me and caught me and said, Padmini, talk about this, because we are all burdened in our own ways in this process. So we need some pointers. That's why I keep saying, go back to the central body, because the central body is not taking care of this despite a high court judgment.
Padmini, I just have one question. I am Annapurni.
Hi, Annapurni.
It is just you've just enlightened us. You've given us some insight about Special Olympics, Bharat, and all that this time. So after knowing this, any efforts we put is going to be in vain, as we have tried and what we have done till date. So now we have some data. We know we can question few questions at least to the person. So who is that person where they have to answer for our question? Anywhere we go, we get bounced. There will be no answers. Is there one particular person where we can get hold of to get an answer?
Well, for me, it is Julia Vasanti who is the area. According to this website, Dr. Prasanna Balaji is the area director.
Okay.
Then after Prasanna Balaji, it is Julia Vasanti who is the assistant area director.
Okay.
Then the other person, I think you should be first CCing. If you contact the area director also, the chairman is definitely responsible. So Mr. Mailvanganan is the person you are to be contacting.
Okay.
And asking for demanding for information.
Okay, if we are not happy with all these people's answer, who is the next set of people whom we can go and whom we can go or mail or whatever it is?
Actually, this is disability rights violation when they are not doing what they're mentioned to be doing, appointed by the commissioner. you should write directly to the State Commissioner, Disability Welfare, Tamil Nadu government, and you should
Okay.
CC it to the minister who is responsible for it, and ask for a. You should file it in such a way that the commissioner's office is going to ask for a show cause from the Special Olympics Bharat Tamil Nadu state unit.
Okay. The questions we ask should be answered by them, or else we can contact the disability commissioner or the person where they will be insisted to answer to our questions.
Yeah, see, already when the High Court judgment came out, the High Court order was very clear that lot of information must be on this website and it should reduce the burden on the parents to seek information, right? So they're already failing at this. That's why you can directly go back to the commissioner instead of again contacting these people.
Okay.
You can go to the commissioner's office immediately. You can write officially. You can write with what has worked for me in India is when you write official communication, you send a registered post with acknowledgement or you send a speed post. That way you have the proof. So when if in case any reason this you keep getting bounced again from there, right? You have all the legal power for to go to the court directly to the Madras High Court, and the court will hold them in contempt of the High Court order.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, is there other things also which is there as a part of Special Bharat? Like, for example, training, you said about coaches, but also things like, for example, if the child needs some medical support like physiotherapy, all that is also part of Special Bharat, or that is all not, the aid support that generally, these kids get, right? These athletes get.
Special Olympics Bharat International, the way it has developed the movement, it also emphasizes the need to provide something to a service called as healthy athletes program. Under the healthy athletes program vertical, the national and the state federations can promote programs where they will do dental camps, general health camps, access to medical services. All these things also can be promoted under the healthy athletes program. So actually, under the Special Olympic umbrella, under the Healthy Athletes program, people are eligible to get services that are being listed on the international website. And I know many dental programs that have been conducted because dental hygiene, dental health is one concern that causes a lot of long-term health problems in our children population, which needs to be addressed. And there have been programs also which have been announced nationally for that. That is also, the services can be sought. Maybe at that point, the state unit can get into a conversation with you on how you can get involved in it for funding and other things. But there is a which these things can be done.
Madam, my name is Bharat. I am a father of Sri Krishna, who was really been selected for the recent Mondia Camp, Special Olympics Bharat. Adding to Annapurdi point, see, you are saying you talk to commissioner, you send a letter to commissioner or ministry or file or whatever the note that you have given. See, basically, by the time we write a letter and then they get it through the registered post and they receive it and they have to find a time to open it and see it. By the time everything gets over. So this time I was really racked that my son selection was informed when the state selection was over, but I was my son was putting on hold, and I was informed just one day before the camp that you have to go find your own way to go to camp and come back. I don't know how you will go. That's what the message that I received from Julia and Gita. But so by the time we write a letter and get a reply from them, everything gets over.
Sir,
so we will have to wait for the other term to come.
Sir,
so I don't know. See, the ad hoc committee is always ad hoc, as you rightly said. Is this the way that other states are running, or only the Tamil Nadu is running like this?
Let me, sir, I don't know if this will assuage your pain or it will create any relief for you. But let
I
me
don't
tell
know.
you,
I don't want any relief. At least next time this should not happen. That is the reason why
Sir,
I'm
sir, I'll answer this. I'm a resident of Bangalore, and then I
Yeah.
know the main person who's been running it in Bangalore.
Yeah.
And then it is the same thing everywhere.
Okay.
It's the same thing everywhere. I know Lieutenant Colonel
Very
Saha,
painful.
who's the main person, and
Very
then I
painful.
know it's the same thing. So, it's not, the politics here seems to be a little more compared to Bangalore, but then still, it's the
no,
same bureaucracy here
um,
everywhere.
No. Let me clarify one thing, because I was in Mandya whole of the camp, and I met the national director, and I was informed that only the Tamil Nadu is lagging behind all the
no,
activities.
he's
So that
lying
was
to
the
you.
reply.
He's
No,
lying
that,
to
No,
you.
no, 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 no. In fact, see, please, I'm relocating from Bangalore to Chennai just because, Chennai is much better and the coaches, the trainers are much better here as compared to Bangalore.
I don't know, because the recent experience, what I have experienced now, if I'm sharing this,
No,
because
because I've been
I'm
I've been
asking this
living in
because
Bangalore for
one,
last 3 years, and then I've not been able to move past anything. Here
okay.
it's totally different, and especially the parent support group like this it's really really good. So
Okay, so if you say that, no, I should take this, but it is not so. But the thing is, the letters or the RTA, whatever the way in which we have to communicate to the super fast officials or superficial officials that you say, but we don't get the reply immediately. It takes its own time, because the first list itself, my son name was there, but eventually he was not selected, and I got the message just one day before the camp that your son has to go to with Mandya for the camp. So he
Bharat
was
sir,
not at all prepared, and he is failed.
Bharat sir, Bharat sir. Now,
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
I'm going to just say
Who is
something
this?
that
Who is
will,
this?
Padmini sir.
Padmini.
Um,
Yes, madam.
Sir, I want to address what Ms. Mahan and you both have discussed so briefly. I want to tell you something here. Here we are talking about two different things. Here we are talking about two different things. One is when I suggested that we do a paperwork based communication and seek information, when I am suggesting that, I am talking about a scenario where our child is, say, something diagnosed with something like vitamin D deficiency. And we have to now pick up the vitamin D levels. So we will give supplementation, good diet, exercise, exposure to sun light. We will do all that. It will take some prolonged several weeks, and then slowly the levels will pick up based on the doctor's recommendations. You are talking about an emergency situation in which the child has gotten an injury and is seeking medical help. With this analogy, if you apply to the sporting context, when the child selection happened, and your child is not the only person, there is an entire high court case, Madras High Court case, which I was the subject matter expert on, Samiha Barveen versus the Union of India, Joint Secretary. Please look that up. In Samiha Barveen's case, she was told to go from Kanyakumari to Delhi in the span of 24 hours. You have no idea how much that mother struggled to take the child from Kanyakumari to a deaf athlete from Kanyakumari to Delhi in 24-hour notice, less than 24-hour notice. Because from Kanyakumari, you can't get to Chennai just like that. It is several hours of travel. Why I'm mentioning this is, I understand that what has happened with the child, the selection drama, this way of violating the rights and doing this is a very common presence in every state unit, because the national unit has gotten used to function like this for years. Today we are having this conversation, but I am screaming this from 2015. And nobody in the special, I know special school uh, ecosystem in India where I have gone and spoken to principals and they all refuse to go speak up. While they all complain in the private, there is educational leadership which is enabling the Special Olympic system, exposing our children to this movement without seeking transparency. So the parents can only do so much. If somebody sends from your child's school this information that one Special Olympic event is happening, track event, put your child in athletic gear and bring them here, as a parent you are only excited that your child is getting participation and you will take them there. You are not worried, you are not able to get into the picture all these violations that they will do with the child. That is where people like me come in and have been telling that you need to fix the Special Olympic system. But now, because that has failed, I have failed with the government, I have failed with the judiciary, I have now taken another bigger bold step and come to the parent community, because by calling for an open revolt from the parent community, I'm putting myself at a major risk. but I'm willing to back you up with objective data. The solution you want to seek for your child cannot happen overnight. It is something that you will have to invest in. You have to put your life and soul into it and see the system get fixed for the next generation. Because the
Okay.
problem that's existing in Tamil Nadu is just out of control.
Do you mean to say that the problem in other states are in control?
No. That is the same conversations are happening in other states also in smaller ways.
It,
Voice is a more
I know
upstream
about Karnataka. I know about Karnataka and whatever Padmini ji mentioned, like it's the same thing in Karnataka. I don't know about the other states, but I know only about Karnataka and I'm talking about it.
Okay, so just I wanted to add to the Annapurni point. That's all, number one. Number two, the balance sheet figures that you have mentioned in your description is that it's all, I know because I finalized balance sheet. I was the, number one position in the company, and I do all kinds of jigglery what balance sheet can do. Okay, so I know, see, whatever the amount that you are mentioning from the balance sheet for past say 15 years or 10 years, so that figure definitely will not go to the down the line. 101% will not go to the down line. But if you ask the responsible person for the money or the coaches or the athlete where it has gone, to best of my knowledge, you will get dragged and you will not get the proper answer. That is my version of answering. Okay, because I am into that field.
So that's why I never went and asked them about money. I asked them the same question Ranjini asked in 2007, 18, 19. What I asked them was to give me information about the programs that they
You won't get, that's what I'm saying, you won't get like what kind of the information we are getting from SOB Tamil Nadu. We don't get anything. At least Ranjini is making some efforts to gather the parents, and then she's bold enough to open this topic. I don't know how the other committee members in the SOB I don't think they will have guts to open this topic. I don't think so. Definitely yes, because whatever question I posted to the other members, it's in dustbin. I know. So I don't know for what reason we have to rake up all those things. As you rightly said, yes, we as a parent, special children parent, we have to gather and then dharna we have to do. Unless we do some kind of dharna and satyagraha, this will not come out properly, rightly.
I understand, sir. I understand your agony because I have seen this. I have heard hundreds of stories at the grassroots. But the only thing what I am aiming through this session is to draw attention to the parents to say, please, I'm requesting, I'm saying this with utmost respect, devotion, love, and affection for all the parents who go through this challenge, because I have myself given 8 years of training with parents and people with disabilities. I don't have a disability, I don't have a family member with a disability, but I do this as a science. So I have no emotions involved in this. I do this as an objective process, right? So one appeal I am making through this session to all the parents who are listening, 50 plus people listening here, is at the drop of the hat, if Special Olympics is calling for your child to show up at an event, do not take them there. Instead, like Ranjini is trying to pool resources to connect coaches, bring coaches to offer direct services, focus on your local community. Please stop running for the medals. Please stop running for the events, because our children are becoming statistic for these people to nationally project to the government, and they are doing so much of injustice that we are now buried under it. We cannot fight this unless we stop showing up. When the numbers don't show up, no, if you now today go to the Special Olympic Bharat website, today under Tamil Nadu, Telangana and Andhra, they're not having credible information to show. They don't have the right contact list to provide to us. That means their resistance has shown up. The Madras High Court judgment has been a slap in their face. Now I want you to stop engaging with them and start finding resources locally. Tamil Nadu has the highest percentage of physical education graduates. You will find, if you interview 5 candidates, you will find an excellent fifth candidate who will work with your child one-on-one for physical education needs. Please don't take your Special Olympics Bharat.
Yes, that's a very good idea. That gives insight what can happen after this. But I just have one emotional question, Padmini. It's just an emotional question.
Tell me.
just because our kids are like this, are they playing this card or it is their normal behavior?
They're doing this. They're doing this across the country with the disabled population across different verticals. Like Miss Mahan was telling, they are doing this across multiple states. So this National Sport Federation, this entire team of people who are sitting there in Delhi, they do this. They have a modus operandi. They have a standard operating procedure how they keep the information and violate rights. It's a very standard behavior. So they're doing this across not just with Tamil Nadu. They're doing this with across multiple states.
So I mean to say, because our children have no idea about what is going on around.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
are they playing with that? Is that their card or?
I'll give you an example. I'll not take names because you said this is an emotional question. I'll give you an emotional small anecdote a parent shared with me from Bangalore.
Okay.
They were put in a national camp in Haryana in some remote place. I'm sure some parent attending this session also had their child go there. I'm 100% confident. They were put in some out of the city limits place in some campus, and one of the rules is that the parents cannot be engaged in the national camp process. This is something that Victor was mandates. They don't want the parents to see what conditions the children are being put inside there.
Okay.
Child is not used to using dirty toilets because in our homes we maintain our toilets spick and span for our children and for us. Child is not used to using toilets where you can see the fecal matter or the urine smell in the toilet, right? And you know how our children are when they are like that. This child stopped from defecating and urinating for I think more than 6 hours or something. And this child was a track runner. And so they ran away from that facility and they reached the mother in the hotel where they were staying in the Delhi NCR region. I'm not even using the gender names because I don't want people to be identified. Please believe that mother, she literally was fuming, broken, crying, and saying, my child had all the luxury and I exposed my child to Special Olympics Bharat situation and I violated my child's rights by trusting him. So this is only one example I'm telling you. So if a child is facing that and they don't have the system in place to protect the child, why should our children be in that environment?
True. Yeah, okay. Okay.
No, is it only the Tamil Nadu is having the ad hoc committee or all the states are having only the ad hoc committee?
Mr. Bharat, actually what happened is the justice at the Madras High Court, you all should go as a group and thank that man. Because he ruled in favor of the parents in C.K. Manoranjani versus Union of India, you guys got protection of an ad hoc committee and these conversations became possible.
Okay.
In other states, in Telangana, let us take the example of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. I'm a Telugu, I'm here, it's hopeless and useless because one Manoranjani also didn't show up in Telangana and Andhra to file a case. So what is happening? Without any scrutiny, this is happening without the presence of an ad hoc committee. It's just violations left, right, center. There is no functional state in any state.
So what do you think? So the solution is hello.
Mr. Gopal Krishnan wanted to ask Bharat. Let us ask. Let him ask something.
Yeah.
Sir. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thanks for the wonderful brief you giving out.
Sir,
your voice is breaking, sir. Your voice is breaking.
Just a minute. I just got my Bluetooth. I think that is the problem.
Okay, so
I think it's
before him. Okay, now he is connected.
I have few questions. Okay, listen. No, I'm Sridhar here. Hello.
Yeah. Okay. So
is it audible now?
Yeah, it is audible.
Yeah, ma'am. Thanks for the information. It was very useful and informative. See, as a parent, I have been gone through this for since last 2013 or 14. Whatever discrimination is always there and non-transparency is always there. Okay, still even see after this Ranjini's fighting with the case, and still I think nothing has been changed. It has become more worse. I hope so.
Okay. Sir, your voice is not audible, sir. Sir, your voice is not audible.
Can you hear me now?
It's breaking.
It's still not audible.
Sir, turn off your camera and just use the audio. We think it will come out.
Now is it audible, ma'am? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. After this Ranjini's big, huge fight with the court case and all, I don't still hope that nothing has been changed. It has become even more worse. See, this commissioner, see, all the bureaucrats are not aware of anything technical. They have no knowledge about this. They don't know what Special Olympic is. They think that is a burden for them. This is what I'm seeing here.
I know that Vasanta, like the main person, like who's running here in Chennai, I don't think she has any relationship with any special needs, right?
Exactly.
But Lieutenant Colonel Saha in Karnataka, Bangalore, his son is completely retarded, and then he is a marathon runner, and then the boy, like he's 28 years and he's doing extremely well. So, when the main committee people are being selected, I feel it is the duty of the special need parents and as well as the schools to make sure that, like the main people have some connection with special needs. Otherwise, at least a passion for special needs to help special need people like Padmini ji. Otherwise, this is not going to help the families like us.
Yeah, of course, I understand. And still, there is no reply from any of the either the commissioner or from either the area director. They never
Mr.
respond to anything. You put RTA, RUs, RCS, any question, they don't respond.
No, what Ms. Mahan said is right. And then
So my name is Mala.
Mala. Okay.
Mala, yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Gopal Krishnan, what I wanted to respond to you is, yes, see, when I was preparing for the session, I was prepared that I will hear this because see, today you're telling this to me virtually. I have heard hundreds of these stories in the last 7 years from people from different states. I was prepared for this. I'm not overwhelmed. I am in the beginning. First year, second year of my work in this sector, I used to get fevers when I used to come back from these interviews because I would not know how to process the pain, right? Now I am not at all surprised, but to respond to specifically to your question or your concern that you have raised here, what is the need of the hour is that I will go back and repeat what I said because I want you all to go home with this, no? If the need, when Eunice Kennedy Shriver created Special Olympic International Movement, she was trying to break a generational barrier in her own family of keeping secret the stigma of having a family member with intellectual disability. Mala, just for the record, we won't use the term retardation in our community. This is just to everybody to know. And
okay.
So when Eunice Kennedy Shriver created this, her intention was very simple. She wanted to bring out more children who are locked away and institutionalized, and she wanted to remove the culture of institutionalization. She wanted to create a socialization, right? And she was very close to the power center. She was a family member of a president, serving president. So a lot of things became possible. If we want to continue down to that same philosophy, we can still continue to apply what Eunice Kennedy Shriver started 50 plus years ago. And we can still do that by taking our own community into stock at the local level. The physical educator community of Tamil Nadu is your powerhouse. Kindly step away from the madness that has been unleashed by Special Olympics Bharat in India. You parents have to go through your own share of healing to walk away from this movement. It is not worth it. It is not. I have met so many Special Olympic athletes, in exception to children coming from elite communities that have access to armed force backgrounds, living on golf courses and country club campuses or in gated communities. In exception to those children, 99% of the Special Olympic athletes do not have life skills to lead healthy lifestyles, which was the precise philosophy behind creating this movement. So if you want to develop those life skills to live a healthy lifestyle for your children, move away from Special Olympics, go start searching for physical educators in the district of Coimbatore. I will give you that pointer also to help you forward. Coimbatore is full of physical education colleges. Start calling your contacts in Coimbatore. Start staffing your own communities. If somebody says, if you give me 50,000 rupees a month, I'm going to come and work for 10 of your kids on a full-time basis, I think you all should pull together the 50,000 rupees, get the physical educator to come to Chennai, or any other district where you are, and you have to create your own small physical education communities for your children, because without that, keep going back to Special Olympics, you will keep getting violated. Right now, they know they can continue to do that with parents. That's exactly what they're doing in North India also. North, south, east, west, everywhere they're doing the same thing. That is precisely how this federation functions. And I have failed on all quarters. I'm ashamed to say that my knowledge has not been useful to this country to bring a change. So I felt, okay, now I'm going to go back to the parent community and start telling the parent community how to do this. You cannot put the power of your child's life into the hands of that federation. Kindly take the power back and put it back into your local communities. And if you start showing up at these events, they will announce some event in Tamil Nadu, or they'll announce something in national level. If one athlete from Tamil Nadu is also not showing up there, what are they going to put under Tamil Nadu flag? This question I have asked so many parents, and I'll tell you, I have said this to Ranjini in private conversation. Quite emphatically, I'm going to go on the record and say this. I know this is going to get recorded and put on YouTube. I want the country to know 90% of the parents are suffering. They don't know what to do. They are constantly looking for opportunities for their children. And the reason Special Olympics Bharat continues to do what it does with our children is because of the 10% of the corrupt parents. There are parents of children with special needs who are corrupt, who violate other parents while seeking leadership of the movement at all the state levels. I know state level parents of children with special needs who have violated other parents of children with special needs. So please do not, you have to cut that trauma cycle somewhere. And I'm such a proud person. I've been a fan of Tamil Nadu for several reasons. I'm telling you, I want this to start from Tamil Nadu. I want Tamil Nadu to unplug out of this movement until they are going to pump funds, set up a proper office, create everything that they can create to actually put a functional state unit in place. They have no business operating in the state of Tamil Nadu while violating a high court judgment. And this has come to the limits, to the brim, that they continue to do this with so much of audacity. They have no fear for law of the state or the country on that matter.
Yes,
Even the
ma'am.
court, even the court,
Yeah,
after
please
this,
carry on.
even the court is not ready to hear what we say. Even the judges, they don't know what we are saying and what we are trying to explain them. They don't even study the case. If we file a suit, if we file a writ petition, they don't have time to study what we have submitted. That is the case here going on here. In my case too.
You have to blame the advocate who is handling your case.
Maybe right.
Absolutely no. I'll tell you what is your legal right which you are not getting in your case, Mr. Gopal Krishnan. It is a case that is unique. It has got a subject matter that very few people have expertise on. Without a subject matter expert on your case guiding your lawyer, what filing your advocate is doing for you? Spinning you in circles because they're claiming some knowledge. Have they contacted any physical education expert from Madhya Pradesh or Tamil Nadu where they actually have physical education colleges? Have they spoken to the dean or the VC of the Lakshmibai Institute in Tirunanthapuram, where adapted physical education has been run and programs? They are not putting the subject matter experts on your cases when they're filing this. They want to get the limelight out of fighting those disability rights cases. And they claim it's pro bono. They won't give you the paperwork. They won't sign any kind of agreements with you. They won't give you the transparency. Written documentation is not given. I've seen it happen everywhere. So I think the lawyer community is also now beginning to realize there is a lot of mileage in this. Now our children will begin to get used by the legal community also.
You are right, of course.
How supportive are the special needs schools with this?
Sorry. Somebody spoke. Mala, I think somebody new I was asking a question.
Yeah, Renuka.
Please,
Yes.
Somebody, Renuka.
I have one question. This is Renuka mother. Our child are disabled. Once, why they should see the behavior like normal child?
Ma'am, I did not understand your question, ma'am. Can you frame it clear?
Disabled, ma'am. Our child are disabled ones, but why they should see that behavior like a normal child? This is Renuka. Yes, this is Renuka mother,
Padmini,
ma'am.
can I explain? Yeah, Ranjini, do you want, please? Can you?
Padmini, we have few cases here in Tamil Nadu, Padmini. We have he has CP and MR, and he is on bound and different things. And always we have this doubt. National office says that children should be in.
Wait. Ranjini.
Ranjini, your voice is breaking.
Ranjini,
your voice is breaking, Ranjini.
Hello.
What happened, ma'am? Actually, the national. Yeah.
Sridhar, tell me.
Yeah, Ranjani. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. What happened? Mostly this the selection trial, they look into the behavior aspect of the child. Mostly for the management purpose, they'll say that okay, the child should be better managed, better properly behaved. So they consider, and any kind of misbehavior by the child. For example, Renu was got selected in first preparatory camp, first national camp in the SOB. She also attended the Mandya camp, which held about a month back. And one reason this, I think it was believed, we came to know through the coaches that her behavior was not up to the mark, up to the expectations. Hence, she was not being considered for the next camp.
Sridhar, I
That's the
understand.
reason. When it is meant for, when one second, let me complete. One thing, but it is a special Olympic. It's a special Olympic. The word special have an intellectual challenge. And is it a competition? You have to look at the skills. You should not look at the only behavior aspect. Of course, what they are saying is if the child is not manageable, probably we will not consider for the next level of coaching camp or preparatory camp. That's for many reasons. For it, is it meant for only near normal kids? I mean, many parents want to ask this one. Only 90% of the only 10% of the intellectual challenge are near normal. And rest of about the majority of the people, children are they have the IQs are very negligible IQs. With that IQ, with the negligible IQ, how they will behave properly, how they get a chance to participate, how to and to go to the level. I don't understand. See, one thing I just want. One thing. This is one question I just want to have a series of questions because there are many parents who want to ask many things. And this is such a vast subject. It cannot be addressed in 1 day and 2 hours. I believe that. And the problem is with the attitude of the people, not the willingness and attitude of the people. And it's not easy task to change the attitude of the people. The system is not a problem. The system was controlled by the people. People who control the system is a problem. The basic things, organizational structure, organization level. Okay, what are the problems? What are the flaws in the organization level? That's fine. Okay, that's a different level. And information, the basic, I would believe that information, providing lack of information, awareness is the fundamental, the basic issues that which we have to look into. Only because is it denied? The information is denied, which is the fundamental right of the everyone to get information, and they are denied. When you put up the information, probably we educate the people. Information has to be people like you, Padmini. You are a research scholar. You people like you have to prepare, have to just give some awareness of what as you started. Probably I want more meetings like this, so that you just one by one we can address. It cannot be, yeah.
Great.
And you said we have to organize at the local level,
Yes.
of course. And the problem lies within the parents, and the parents does not probably they will listen to this. They will listen to this meeting 2 hours probably. Then just they go off and they will not come back. They will not discuss what is the next steps, how we can organize.
I
Yes.
understand. Listen to me.
Anyone would, yeah, please.
Absolutely.
Anyone want to talk? Please, anyone want to ask anything? Or shall I stop?
No, listen, one moment. I interrupted you because I want to address the points you raised in a very concise manner. Renu's mother's question and your question combined. One, I will, as a PhD holder, as in having trained with the people who started Special Olympics International in America, I will tell you this. The purpose of the movement is not to bring medals or to create some kind of a international competition movement that looks at athletic prowess. We are not looking at Neeraj Chopra throwing a 90-meter in Special Olympics, Bharat. So whatever was told as that Renu's rejection or her being treated poorly, saying her behavior, my behavior is in a certain manner. My sister's behavior is not like that. We are all unique individuals. So whatever is the normal we are referring to, that is our majority is normal. So let us not even get into the debate at this point, or not even mention neurodivergence. What is happening at Special Olympic Bharat events is philosophically not aligned with what is the Special Olympic International movement. That is the first thing I will tell you. Second thing I'm telling you, Special Olympic Bharat events do not practice safe sport practices. Those spaces are not safe for our children. You cannot go there until Special Olympics Bharat is going to fix their behavior at the state and the national level. With that having said, I understand his mother. I'm sorry I forgot to ask her name. Sridhar, can you please mute yourself because there is some disturbance?
Yeah, sure.
Renu's mother was mentioning, because I think that is coming from a space of pain where she has felt that her child was treated without fairness. Ma'am, the expectation that your child should automatically have a managed behavior is something that Special Olympics Bharat has implemented for several years. It is highly discriminatory. It cannot be emphasized. It cannot be mandated. It is violation of the rights of the child with disability. In the Special Olympic movement, they have for years considered people who are so-called in quotes independent. They want to take children who are fully trained to be independently operating with their own physical capacities. That is an unfair standard to set, and to hold children accountable to that eliminates a lot of people from the movement which has been happening, which is why I kept saying a lot of parents should not send their children to Special Olympics. So again, I'm going back to emphasize on, I understand that majority of the parents here, all of them are overwhelmed at how can I best serve my child. Special Olympics in India is not your solution for your child with intellectual disability. We are not trying to hit the normal. The normal for your own child is you understanding your own child's physiology and anatomy. If there is a need for that, you will have to contact a physiotherapy student or a physiotherapist in your community to educate you on the physiology and anatomy of your own child. Pay the professional to sit with you, assess the child, and explain your own child's needs to you. Spend your money on that rather than spending on 5,000, 6,000 to fly your child out of here and there and everywhere, while also affecting your other children's context. Invest in your local communities, empower your local physiotherapists and physical educators to get into the movement and help you understand your own child's needs in the physical activity vertical. Having said that, I am going to hear, actually I've seen a couple of questions that came in into the chat box. And see, Vandana Gaura is saying about poor quality of skating rinks. I understand, ma'am, but it is again, when you talk of safe sport for your child, we are talking about putting our child in a space where they will be comfortable the most. So for the sake of their participation in sport, if there is a substandard environment, please do not put your child in that environment and expect to get them to learn the sport. If there is nothing, start with something that you can do at home with the help of some family assistance or some helper assistance that you can, because I know it's draining sometimes to do this alone without any company. So try to invest in your own local communities, and I am personally
Ma'am,
telling you.
actually, sorry to interrupt you. Actually, he is learning skating for the past 10 years, ma'am. And because it's inline skates, he needs a proper rink. That's all. And the rink is also not provided, means it's easily, so many kids got
Which
hurt, not
state
only
is
my
this,
child.
Vandana? Which state is this in?
Uh, Gandhinagar was in Gujarat, ma'am. Now only in July we went there. He
Gandhinagar,
went
this
there.
facility is a government facility or a private facility?
Private, I think so, ma'am.
Private means you still have the
But
right.
no, ma'am. That I sent him through Special Bharat only.
So that is Special Olympics Bharat becomes your party to write to say my child got injured and to report it.
Okay,
What
ma'am.
is the
That's what
problem?
I don't know whom to report also. That's why I put, because I got a chance here, so I
To
thought I'll ask.
every parent attending this session, I want to tell you this. This connect at specialolympic.bharat.org, that email address we posted in the chat box earlier,
Okay.
that is
Okay,
your
ma'am.
email address to send everything to. The body National Sport Federation has the responsibility to respond to every communication that is sent to them at that email address. So please feel
Okay.
free to write everything there. What will happen is you'll create a record of the communication, so that
Okay, ma'am.
in the future, whether they respond or not, you have made the effort. The court will, the judge will look in your favor. If it ever escalates to a legal case,
Yeah.
any party, any government agency will look in your favor because you have done your due diligence. This is your fundamental citizen right. So just put
Yeah.
that into your mind.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Oh,
then
yeah,
there's
ma'am.
Coach
Thank you.
Karthik. And Coach Karthik has asked some questions about speech therapists and all, which Ranjini will address, I think, separately. Um, and then reference of Coimbatore physical educators, which you have mentioned, Pradeep Yadav is asking. See, Pradeep, one of the things that I want to tell about myself is I'm somebody who considers no state boundaries when I talk about something, but myself, I have engaged a lot with the Coimbatore community. I don't personally recommend anybody because I'm not an institution. I don't have a way to ascertain their individual candidatures for the positions. You can go on internet. You can look for the Tamil Nadu universities which are running the physical education programs. And in my experience, when you write to them directly, they are definitely connecting you with their alumni groups because they are spread across the country. So reach out to the institutions directly and get reference of candidates from the institutions. That way, you will get the people who are reliable academically also, who have had a good candidature in the colleges. So that is where their verifiable source you will have when you are picking people. That is
Sure.
something
Yeah,
important.
okay, ma'am. Sure. Thank you, ma'am. But just any reference, like any college, or because we are new to Coimbatore, we don't know whom to
Sir,
connect.
two universities, sir. You have to, I think, note down. One is the Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda University Vidyalaya, which is in
Okay.
Perinayakanpalayam. They have a great physical education program. Lot of Special Olympic experience those children have. Then the other one is the Avinashi Lingam University. They have a physical education program that's exclusively women's university. So you'll get a lot of physical education teachers who are female also from that Avinashi Lingam University. These two,
Okay.
you should get sufficient sources to scrutinize the candidates from.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
I just have one question. How supportive are the parents? I mean, the schools.
Sorry, Mala, one moment. I can't see who spoke before Mala. Mala will talk one moment.
Ma'am, this is Renuka Mother, ma'am. I have one more question, ma'am.
Tell me, ma'am.
In recent Mandya camp, I saw all the disabled ones who came with their parents who have completed their special educations. But why they did not allow us to go caretaker for our children?
Ma'am, what is your name, ma'am? Renuka's mother.
I am Gomati, Renuka Mother. I am special teacher.
Gomati, what is happening in India in the disability community, especially where federations are controlling the disabled people's rights, is unevenly they are putting rules based on the lobby that works with them closely. This is a very political answer, but as a parent trying to find a solution, you should understand the politics of the movement also. You cannot say I will ignore the politics and I try to fix the problem. This has happened in Samiha Barvin's case, the deaf athlete's case. So you talk about independence, no? Sridhar was mentioning about Special Olympics picking athletes who are only independent, no? So they're saying our child has intellectual disability. That is why they're saying, or behavior component is there. That's why they're rejecting. Samiha Barvin is a 18-year-old woman who's deaf, and she's fully independent. She has traveled all the way to Poland and come back. She does not need any assistance. She's a fully independent person, educated person. She was denied a right to go to Delhi to appear at the national camp to be able to go represent India at the Deaf Olympics in Poland because they had to provide assistance for her, for an interpreter. The woman coach had to be sent along with her. So they just flat right out rejected her. So what I'm trying to tell you here is your questions are all absolutely legitimate. They're valuable. They're emotionally strong. I get it. But you should also understand that this is happening as a part of the politics. So you have to go back to the fundamental question. Do I want to put my child in a safe space and help them build life skills? Or do I want to put them in a space where I'm chasing a medal, which I don't know which I will ever get? Unfortunately, the Special Olympics movement in India has evolved to a point where until somebody like me came in and started asking these questions, these conversations were not happening. And I started asking these questions because I got hit in my face when I wanted to do research. They told me, you cannot do research in this field. And I'm like, if you don't do research, how can you improve services? And then I started investigating services, and then I realized there is no services in this sector. Disabled people are just being used left, right, center. So what I'm trying to tell you here to address your question is, I understand the concern part, why they are saying that, how they are doing it, why they're doing it. They are a corrupt body of unprofessional people who violate human beings' disability rights. What logic are we going to seek from those people? I cannot give you an answer for their behavior. I have met Victor Voss. I have interacted with many people in the Special Olympics national leadership. I'm telling you, I am leaving all those comments out of this conversation because this is not about the individual. This is about a failed institution that is failing disability rights of our children with intellectual disabilities. So please go back to your local communities. You guys have to shut out the national movement. You have to strengthen your local communities. You have to grab the power back to your communities. Otherwise, this is never going to change. This is an endless cycle in which we'll keep chasing our tails. We'll keep running like this. And I want I'm insisting in this harsh tone, or whether I'm arrogant, I come across, I don't know what, but I'm insisting on this because you guys have the power and you're putting the power in their hands, and that is why they're getting the strength. Without you guys, there is no Special Olympics, Bharat. Why are the parents showing up in such substance? I know parents who have repeatedly gone back to abusive environments, and I'm saying, why are you doing that to yourself and to your child? What validation are you seeking? Because the financial remuneration or the award money you get from state governments is pittance for the amount of lakhs you spend over the years. 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, what money are you going to do with that money for all the quality of life that is lost? So I'm begging you guys to, at least from today, I think this conversation can open up the possibility for us to back away from it completely and reassess how we are approaching our own children's physical activity needs. And like Sridhar said, after this session, I'll regroup with Ranjani, and the rest of the parents will take the feedback, and we will positively keep trying to do more and more of these sessions, because I think if we start now announcing themes under each vertical, parents will have more specific questions which we can guide them with. This was a very general session to gauge the interest. Now, say in the future, if we say something like we will talk only about nutrition and Special Olympics, and then we will bring experts who can give you the credible information you can base this on. I think that is something that we will do. We will work on it from that perspective.
Padmini, this is Padma.
Hi, Padma.
I have a slightly different question. It's not about Special Olympics, but it's mainly about sports. And since you have done the research, just wanted to understand if there are courses, physical education kind of courses, which can be taken up by special adults who have been like training in the sports area like so far, right? So, so that they are physically fit.
See, I think I'm reading a question. I would like to understand if there are special education courses for special adults to take up. Right now in India, Padma, there is no single program, a physical education course program for special athletes, individuals with intellectual disabilities to pursue, to learn for their own health needs, are you saying, or to pursue careers?
Not necessarily career, but if it can be taken up as a course, but then later, yes, it can be turned as a career where they can be an assistant coach, or because they would be to an extent they would be able to understand when they grow up. Probably that's a hope we are having. So hence, ask this question.
Onto my radar, I have not gotten any courses that are specifically going to address the physical education or health status needs. There are other life skills and behavioral components and vocational training. That great work is happening at the grassroots. Not yet, but if that is something that the community needs, we are going to put together something like that between me, Ranjani, and our community leaders. We are willing to explore that.
Let me just frame my question slightly differently in that case. So the physical education courses which are available for neurotypical, can that be like, are there any reservations available for disabled?
Fantastic question. I'm so glad you asked me this question. There is a national sports university in Manipal, which is in the northeast Manipal, not Karnataka Manipal.
Okay.
And in
good.
the National Sports University, when it announced its courses, which are the sport coaching courses and sciences courses, they put out a notification in which they deliberately said that persons with disabilities are not permitted to enter those courses.
Oh my God. Oh. Okay.
And now I'll zoom out a little bit in the scene and tell you from the Indian Constitution level. Under Indian Constitution, fundamental rights and rights of persons with disabilities, our children and individuals with disabilities are absolutely eligible for any education course. We are not talking about vocational courses where they are going to become surgeons or something. No, this is a vertical in which no parent has still ventured out to admit their child into a physical education program. Example, there is a national open school through which people are getting 10th class, and then they're doing +1, +2 also, no? Children who are neurodivergent. So far, past that point, parents have not explored the opportunity that my child can become a bachelor's in physical education. So
exactly, that's what I would want to explore, because I would want to take up a course as a part of his 12th NIOS, and after, mainly for the reason that he can take up some courses on physical education later, if possible.
Which state are you based out of, Padma?
Oh, Tamil Nadu, Padmini. And there is a physical education course available in NIOS for senior secondary, which is 12th. So if I choose that, then that would form a kind of a base for him to apply for any of the courses. Yeah.
On the basis of cases that have been fought at the central level for medical education, there is a precedent set for people with disabilities by one Dr. Satyendra Singh. Okay, he has fought some medical cases. He's advocated for medical students who have been denied admission based of disability. You can take precedence of such cases if you are denied the right, and you can actually approach the university to admit your individual ward for a bachelor's in physical education. I think you should submit the application and see what response you'll get, because I think they have the eligibility. Your child has the eligibility to do that. So, but there will be institutional resistance, which I want you to be prepared for, and that's why people like me and Ranjini can probably help you advocate.
Sure. Great. Thanks for providing that clarity and the visibility. Yeah.
No, do it. Go for it. We are all here. I want to see how this goes. I'm excited.
Thank you, Padmini.
Yeah.
Padmini, regarding this special education Tamil Nadu, this thing runs in my mind. Can we take media support and bring this out to all the people in the country?
You should actually. I think Ranjini, there is a huge potential for this example, this conversation. No, I think you should send this to journalists, and you should ask them to contact all the parents who asked questions in this, not you and me. Then a lot of stories will come in the media. See, at one point, I know we have come to 6 o'clock. I want us to conclude the session. I just want to tell you this. What is that very major portal, Tamil magazine? It starts with V. Another Ranjini, there is one.
Ananda Vikatan.
Yes, Vikatan.
Yep.
A Vikatan journalist had contacted me 2 years ago, and they asked me a lot of questions because somebody told that, oh, she speaks amazing Tamil, this, that, she's a Telugu, but she's working with a lot of Tamil people and all. That person contacted me, they asked me everything, and the moment, and he said, ma'am, ungalku enna disability irukku, ma'am? And I said, sir, I'm not disabled, I'm a PhD in this subject. Then he said, apadiya, ma'am. So now you recognize that media support we can take. But we need journalists who understand that this subject is beyond individuals. We need people who are passionate to write amazing stories, and you should bring journalists who want to fall in love with the subject and write. Then I think you'll really make a huge impact if you take the media angle on this. Don't bring people who want to do pieces that will give them some sales, and or my editor will not agree. I'm like, instead of that, find a mass communications graduate who will write a wonderful blog on this. That way you'll grab the power back into your hands from the media houses. So find mass communication graduates who will be willing to join our meetings in the future. That way I think you'll make a huge difference to your effort.
That, Padmini, I can do that easily. I'm in touch with many journalists. I can get students into this. We'll do that. And one more, I forgot.
Anyways, Anjali Yadav, Ranjini, here Anjali Yadav has given her mobile number. Can you please add her to the group, because she's saying we can ask our queries about sports. So Anjali, can you please tell what age group you want to be joined in, because Voice has different age groups, WhatsApp groups, which group you would like to be added to?
Ma'am is 10 years.
10 years, okay. Ranjini, please add her to the relevant group. She'll find it helpful. Yeah. Thank you.
Post your number.
Yeah, she just posted it. I'll note it down and send it to you personally. All right, I think we have come to past 6 p.m. and I think this is great. And Ranjini, I think I want to do more of these in the future. We should just do like town hall meetings.
I should. So far, like this, guys.
Ranjini, voice is breaking. I'll just let you conclude and close the meeting. You've muted yourself, Ranjini. You can conclude the session and we can leave.
Kids have come around me. They were...
Oh, okay.
Pola. Thank you, Padmini. And in future, we will plan for similar sessions, and we'll take each thing forward. We'll focus on each particular thing, and we'll take each step forward. Thank you, Padmini, and thank you, parents, for attending this. and we'll take this forward.
Absolutely.
Telling journalists and
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all the parents who have attended. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. We need to have more meetings.
We'll do town halls each month.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we would need to completely use your knowledge, Padmini. So it wouldn't go
Oh
wasted.
yeah.
Don't worry.
I'm
Yeah.
here for that. All the more merry. If you use me more, I'm more than happy.
Yeah.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you all.